From Washington, this is VOA News. International reaction picks up as President Obama readies for action in Syria. North Korea explains withdrawing an offer to the U.S. I'm Vincent Bruce reporting from Washington. U.S. President Barack Obama has decided that military action is required against Syria to respond to its use of chemical weapons. But he will seek congressional authorization to strengthen national resolve for any attack. VOA senior White House correspondent Dan Robinson has a report.
Mr. Obama said the chemical attack in Syria risks making a mockery of global prohibitions on use of chemical weapons, endangers allies and partners, and could lead to escalating use of the weapons or their proliferation.
I've told you what I believe.
He said this menace must be confronted.
That our security and our values demand that we cannot turn away from the massacre of countless civilians with chemical weapons.
Mr. Obama said congressional leaders have agreed to schedule a vote as soon as Congress returns to session. He added he is confident in moving forward without a vote in what he called a completely paralyzed United Nations Security Council. Dan Robinson, VOA News, the White House.
More details at voanews.com. North Korea says it rescinded its offer for a senior U.S. envoy to visit Pyongyang because of U.S. and South Korean military drills that took place on the peninsula last week. U.S. envoy Robert King was due to travel from Tokyo to Pyongyang Friday to request that a jailed Korean American, Kenneth Bae, be freed on humanitarian grounds. But on Saturday, a North Korean Foreign Ministry spokesman said the military drills made humanitarian dialogue impossible. The State Department on Friday said it was surprised and disappointed by North Korea's decision. It also expressed renewed concern about the health of detainee Kenneth Bae. Regarding Syria, opponents of military intervention in Syria have taken to the streets in protest of President Obama's reaction today. Anti-war demonstrations were held Saturday outside the White House in Washington and in other countries, including France, Germany, Britain, Australia, Jordan, and Turkey, a day after the U.S. government presented its report on the Syrian government's alleged use of chemical weapons against civilians. Eugene Puryear of the Answer Coalition was one of those outside the White House in Washington protesting any U.S. intervention in Syria.
We don't think that the U.S. should be judge, jury, and executioner in this situation, and that the U.S. intervention, a military intervention, will not assist in the bringing peace to the region. It will only further inflame wars. So regardless of the chemical weapons issue, we're saying U.S. intervention is not the answer.
Hiba Bustane was with a group supporting Syrian rebels and calling for action.
We don't exactly want intervention with bombs and missiles and everything. We just want someone to at least acknowledge that he used chemical weapons and to say something about it and to tell him no more, just to make him scared to do anything more. Because if you don't say anything to him, he's going to keep on using it.
There were demonstrations in support of military action against Syria. Syrian allies expressed support for the government of President Bashar al-Assad. Supporters of Assad say they are confident his government can withstand any strike by the United States, while rejecting the U.S. case that Mr. Assad used chemical weapons against fellow Syrians. VOA's Elizabeth Arrett has more from our Middle East Bureau in Cairo.
Residents of Damascus are bracing for what some believe could be a U.S. missile strike any hour. But Nahla Essa, a deputy dean at Damascus University, says many are taking the threat in stride. Analyst Abu Abdallah expresses some sympathy for President Barack Obama, arguing that he has been pressured by various groups, including, he alleges, Syrian enemy Israel, into his current position.
The situation is difficult because President Obama, he said that we will finish the era of wars, and he is against war, but now again he started the war. There is lobbying against him.
Elizabeth Arrett, VOA News, Cairo.
More details at voanews.com. According to Yemeni officials, Prime Minister Mohammed Basindaba escaped an assassination attempt Saturday. Sources say gunmen opened fire on Mr. Basindaba's convoy in the capital, Sana'a, as he was returning home from his office. Suspected Islamist militants have killed at least 24 members of a civilian vigilante group in Nigeria. The attack occurred Friday when the civilian Joint Task Force vigilantes were ambushed in a village in the northeastern state of Borno. 34 people are still missing after that attack. For all of the latest, visit us at voanews.com 24 hours a day. I'm Vincent Bruce, VOA News, reporting from Washington.